Hello, TopFanRivalry followers, and welcome to another edition of Astros in Orbit. It's been a little bit, but we've had a little bit of help from Mother Nature. Susie, how are you? Are you still on the ground, feet planted, and everything?
I mean, I don't know if my feet were ever planted to begin with, so I don't know how to answer that, Bill.
That's a good question. That's a good statement. I appreciate that. Yeah. 100%. I mean, I didn't ask about mental capacity, so we're safe there. I just figured I'd use the feet, but whatever, do what we got to do, right?
Well, yeah, no, the mental capacity was never there to begin with either, so, I think you get the same answer either way.
You said it, not me, but giddy up, right? Giddy up. All right. So I hear that the Astros are doing relatively decent these days.
You could say that. That's one way to put it. The other way to put it is we're now tied in, percentage points with the quote unquote first place Seattle Mariners. So, potato, potato.
So they put up a statistic yesterday on MLB Network, which I thought was interesting. And I thought of you and I thought of this show prior to it. It said that on June 19th, you guys were 33 and 40, and you were 10 games out of first place. And a month and 2 days later, you're now tied for first place, which shows the resilience of the Astros, shows a lot of things that the Astros are bouncing back, that the Mariners have taken a step backwards. I mean, a lot of things. So, thoughts on the whole turnaround because I think you and several others were almost ready to give up on the season. If the clock would have turned July, calendar would have turned July, and you guys were 10 games back, you guys might have said, maybe not this season.
Well, I mean, the whole point of, being a fan is being a fan until they, make us wanna drink for both ways, happy, sad, regardless. So, we were gonna ride or die regardless of the record. We were gonna be here. I say we like I have a proverbial mouse in my pocket. I do not. It's just me and the dang it doll back there. However, the fact that we have come on so strong and y that a lot of national media outlets had us, buried and gone and saying, "Oh, well, it's really hard to sustain this winning blah 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 blah," and the fact that the Rangers may be, proverbial sellers at the deadline after, winning a World Series, it just goes to show you how amazing this run has actually been. The fact
Mm,
that it has been sustained this long.
hmm
And, we have 3 guys in our rotation right now. Well, I'd say 2.5 guys in our rotation right now that should not be there at all, that really and truly probably still belong in AAA to season a little bit longer and, get some reps. And the fact that we have an entire rotation on the IL, starting rotation on the IL, and we've done all this winning with Kyle Tucker on the IL has just been a testament to our other guys and how strong that they've been playing. I mean, Yainer Diaz, catcher, rookie catcher that, wasn't good enough to play last season, that couldn't get reps anywhere else on the field, uh, was sitting the bench the majority of the season, and now he's batting cleanup for this lineup. You make it make sense. Make it make sense, people. AKA Dusty
Yeah.
Baker, but it's one of those things where, Yiner has come on and provided has stepped up and provided the bat to ball. Alex Bregman is playing like the Alex Bregman that we know and love and expect. But it's June, so that's when he gets hot. You know, um, Jake Myers has come on and been Jake Myers. Jake and Chaz have basically just traded, swapped bodies and capabilities, and that's a whole other podcast for later. But Joey's come on, the fact that John Singleton has come in and been a very solid, first baseman, Jose Altuve doing Jose Altuve things, of course. And Jeremy Pena having, not a breakout star-studded, you know, what is this? His junior year, I guess, if, last year was his sophomore slump. But it's been a great turnaround by all the guys, and just we're very excited about it.
I I like Jeremy Pena. I like what you guys are doing. I think that I mean, Jeremy Pena's got 102 hits. He has a shot to get about 170, 180 hits, which, that's not a bad little giddy up for him, right? Stay
And
right in that
still
that
playing,
aspect.
still playing really, really good defense as well, and the fact that so many media outlets are touting Anthony Volpe and how well Anthony Volpe is doing. I'm all, I understand that Jeremy Pena is not top 5 shortstop in the league, but put some respect on this man's name because Anthony Volpe is not better than Jeremy Pena. So,
Well, truth, but understand the East Coast bias, right? And
yeah, I'm
so
sorry?
you understand how this plays out. Remember, the Red Sox have 3 Sunday night game of the weeks. I think the Astros, I think the Dodgers have one. And I think both of those games are against either the Yankees or Red Sox. So yeah, you gotta expect that, right? Now, Jeremy Pena is right where Jeremy Pena needs to be because he is just doing his thing and being quiet about it because you have this guy named Jordan Alvarez. I've heard of him before. I think he's halfway decent. I think he hit for a cycle recently. You got Jordan, you got, you know, the 6'5" Jose Altuve, you got Alex Bregman. So Jeremy Pena is just kind of sliding under the radar. He's not being talked about as much. Now, when Bregman leaves, if he leaves after the season, he'll probably get talked about some more. With Jordan there and with Jose Altuve there, people aren't paying attention to Jeremy Pena yet. He's got over 100 hits, 170 hits a season. I mean, think about that. Do that for 18 seasons, and he got 2,500 hits.
It's not a math
People,
pod. It's not a math pod, Bill. I don't math is foreign to me. That's not I'm not that Asian. Come on now. I
I
understand that you do record a lot of, various podcasts, but come on, not that
I
Asian.
sorry, my agent told me that this was more of a math plot, so I was trying to give you as
Mm-mm.
much as
No,
possible.
no.
I will
Your
fire my
agent
agent.
told you incorrectly, sir.
Yeah. Let me get rid of it. Hey, somebody get my agent on the phone. Let's fire Scott Boris. Fire him. Just let him go. Tell him to take the high road like or get to step in like Jordan Montgomery. I gotta get back. Anyway. All right. So
Oh,
Susie, next
side note,
question.
funny story. When I was
Okay.
little,
Yeah.
you know that song, Secret Agent Man? You know that song?
Yeah.
I, for the longest time, didn't realize that he was saying secret agent, Agent, man. I thought he was saying secret Asian man, and I was so confused. I didn't understand how that was a actual thing until I was probably, like, 10, and I asked my dad what that meant, and he goes, "What do you mean secret Asian man?" I go, "I don't know. Is he mixed? Does he not look Asian? I don't understand how he secretly can be Asian." And he goes, "That's not what they're saying at all, Susie." Well, what is he saying? He goes, "Agent, secret agent man, like a spy." And I go, "Oh, that song makes so much more sense now."
It makes so much more sense. It's kind of like um Huey Lewis in the News has an 80s song called I Want a New Drug. For some reason, I won't mention who, but Amber thought it said I want a new truck. And so I have no idea why. And I said, listen to the words, and what's that have to do with the truck? Anyways,
She's like,
anyways,
"I don't know. I can make it
good,
make sense."
good times. Okay, so I'm gonna eat crow a little bit here. And I want you to either agree or disagree with me. So the Astros and the Mariners are currently tied for first place. About 3 weeks ago, I said win the division or go home. That doesn't seem to be the case because currently the Mariners, if the season were to end today, you guys would win the division because of the tiebreak. And the Mariners would miss the playoffs by 2.5 games. 2.5 games now separates the second place team from the wild card spot. The wild card spot is very much open for the American League West. Am I right or am I wrong?
I don't know. I have to look at the standings. Who's it? Who's behind
Yan-
us? Hold on.
Yankees are plus 3.5. Twins and Royals are tied. Red Sox are a game out. Mariners are 2.5 games out. Diamondbacks are 4.5 games out. Detroit is 6 games out. Texas is 7.5. Toronto's a 9.5. Angels are 12.5. Oakland is 16.5. And the White Sox are a mere 28.5.
Okay, so are you asking if the other wild card spots are going to be filled by an AL West team? Is that what
No,
I'm
what I'm saying is 3 weeks ago, it looked so bad in the AL West that it was either win the division or go home. I don't think that's the case anymore. At the end of July, I don't think that that's the case anymore. I think that the Mariners could sneak up as a wild card team.
unless the it depends on the trade deadline. After the trade deadline, talk to me about the Mariners. I mean, the fact that they DFA'd Ty France, which was shocking to me.
Mm,
I we'll see. We'll see. Depending
yeah.
on if but I honestly, I don't even know if like one big bat is going to do it for that lineup. I feel like they need 3 or 4 big bats or at least 2 really like bat to ball guys and then there are other guys actually stepping up and doing what they kind of
Mm,
need to do.
okay.
So, talk to me after the trade deadline, words are hard, and then I can answer you on how I feel about the Mariners. Currently constructed, the Mariners have no shot at the wild card.
Well,
Currently
with
constructed.
J-Rod going down too. So
Yeah,
that doesn't
but
but
I say that, and I say this with all, like, with all due respect because he had been getting hotter, but the fact that he hadn't been putting up J-Rod numbers or what J-Rod what the fan base, the front office expected of J-Rod, it is that a huge loss for him? I think as a spark plug, as a, team leader, I think so. As far as, like, production value, maybe not so much.
okay, so I'm gonna do a little compare and contrast here. And you tell me your thoughts here. So finishing up the finishing up the month,
Mhm.
okay? You guys have the um, A's, very struggling A's, for 3 games in the Coliseum. Then you come home, take a day off, you come home, and you play the 2024 World Champion Los Angeles Dodgers at home. And then what are you shaking your head for?
I don't know which Dodger team am I facing? Am I facing, Robleski? I don't even know if that's how you actually say his last name.
You're facing Tyler Glass now. You're going to face Clayton Kershaw.
Oh,
You're going to,
Is Tyler Glasnow's back all better now?
yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah, yeah. I think he actually pitches against you this weekend. I know that Clayton Kershaw pitches against the Giants on Thursday, I believe. So, yeah, yeah. But so you guys come home, you play there, and then you play against Pittsburgh. Now, so the question becomes, can you take advantage of the 6 games against Pittsburgh and Oakland? The Dodgers series is always going to be tight. You guys play the Dodgers well, the Dodgers play you guys well. So, what are your thoughts about the end of the month schedule versus the Mariners play 3 games at home against a struggling Angels team? Then they play the White Sox, who are just on fire right now with like 97 losses already. And then you play a Red Sox, or then they play a Red Sox team that is very good in in Boston. So, thoughts there?
Well, I'd never discount the Oakland Athletics. I know better than that. I'm a smart baseball fan, and I know better than that. One, because there is no other team in MLB that has scored 18 runs in a game, and this struggling Oakland A's team have done it 3 times! 3! And always, the A's are our daddies, so I will never discount the Oakland A's because that's that's what happens. Um, the the Dodgers, we can take or leave. It's one of those things. And the Pirates, depending on which starting pitchers we have that we face, odds are, I don't know if Jared Jones will be back on in the rotation just yet, but I'm sure that we will probably face Paul Skeens, and, if that is the case, we'll probably be, like, no hit or 1 hit for, like, 6 innings, and then we can take advantage of their bullpen. So, that is that's what I'm going to go with on that, and then, no disrespect to Mitch Keller because he is a very, very good pitcher, but, the rest of that starting rotation minus, like, Mitch Keller, and again, I don't know if Jared Jones will be back on the IL. I'm not scared of it.
Okay.
So, hopefully, we nose to the grindstone and win series is would I love to sweep? Absolutely, but sweeps are hard.
So are very hard. Well, you've got 9 games against I mean the A's, obviously you said that they're your daddies, so that's one thing. But you have
Yeah.
9 games against teams that are fighting. Uh, six of the 9 games are against teams that are fighting. One division leader, Pirates are fighting for a spot. I just looked at Seattle's schedule for August, and it's a lot more difficult than yours is. They start out against Philly at home, and then Detroit, who Detroit's trying to turn it around, and they've got the team to do it. And then the Mets, Detroit, Pittsburgh, and then the 2024 World Champion Los Angeles Dodgers. Um, that takes them through middle of the month, where you guys, Tampa Bay, Silver Boot, Boston, Tampa Bay, White Sox, Boston. So it's all about the Silver Boot or Sox, whether they're red or white.
I'll take it.
It's a lot of math to do, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. My brain said, "I don't know what you're talking about right now," so we're just gonna
It's
nod and
too
smile.
early in the morning, or do we just not like math?
A little of both. Just be glad that I took my Adderall before the episode, Bill. So,
Woo. Yeah, without
mhm,
that, I mean, who knows, right?
we'd be all over the place. All over
There
the
you,
place.
there you go. Okay, Susie, tell us. Let's wrap this up because I know that you've got a bunch of stuff going on. But uh, Astros are looking good. Astros are in first place. Astros have advantage on the schedule, right? Over the next couple of weeks. So anything else that we need to know about the Astros? Any things that you look as concerns for the rest of the month, or are you just full steam ahead?
Well, we've got to look at our starting rotation. Hopefully, JV will be back shortly. Luis Garcia is scheduled to come back at some point. LMJ, you can just probably expect him be sent to the freaking moon. I don't know what LMJ is doing.
There's a lot of good
So hope
charity work.
his coffee supposedly is great. Who knows? So Kyle Tucker's leg has been amputated, and we now just call him Peg Leg Pete. Hopefully, he will be back in August. But our starting rotation, we've got to really look at Spencer Arrighetti's innings innings limit. That's the L word I was looking for, limit. So between Spencer Arrighetti and Ronald Blanco's innings limit and the fact that his velo has been down, that is a little slash a lot worrisome to me personally. I don't know as a fan base if they're as worried about it as, known ball knowers, but both of those have to be monitored pretty closely. The fact that, we have added Jake Bloss, which don't get me wrong, I love Jake Bloss, but again, his how much how much can we count on, rookie sensation Jake Bloss to come on and help? I don't know if we have any other starting pitchers in the minor leagues that are even remotely ready. There has been rumors of AJ Bluebaugh possibly coming up and providing maybe some like long relief. But, besides this starting rotation that desperately, desperately needs arms at this point, I think on the hitting side, I think we're gonna be okay if our guys continue on, concentrating on, like, passing the baton and putting together good at bats as opposed to, trying to hit the 43 home runs and, that type of thing, so we
Yeah,
shall see.
yeah. Right now, innings are a premium for a lot of pitchers. I actually, as strange as this is, I was on my fantasy team this morning looking at my fantasy baseball league, and I have like four pitchers on the IL, right? And so you can only put so many people on the IL. So I go to drop. I just got a day-to-day notice on one of my pitchers, so I just dropped him because he wasn't that awesome, anyways. He was a spot filler for me. I needed him for one start. I brought him up for one start, called him up. He gave up like 6 runs in 2 innings. I forgot to drop him. So, anyways, I go on to
Oh, so you
the
had Clayton Kershaw on your Oh, I'm sorry, Max Scherzer? You had Max Scherzer on your roster?
Griffin Canning. So
What
not
did
Clayton
you
Kershaw.
have for thinking?
What's that?
No, just nothing. Keep going.
I picked him up. I think it was against the White Sox that he was pitching and he got shelled. Somebody that he should have beat. I think it was the White Sox. No, it was I think it was Detroit. No, it was Detroit. Anyways, somebody that they should have beat. So, and I needed a win for that week. So I go to replace him and I put starting pitchers in, right? And IL. And all these pitchers are down and out. And Susie, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it's the amount of innings that the arm takes getting to the show versus what it used to be to get there. I think these kids are pitching far too much in high school because they're doing the perfect game tournaments, they're doing summer leagues, they're doing winter leagues, they're doing fall ball, and plus they're pitching on travel ball teams, and sometimes they're pitching 300-400 innings a season, or I mean a year. Then they get into college and they do the same thing, and then they get into the minors. By the time they get into the minors, they probably have 3 to 4 times more work on their arm than my generation did. And so we're seeing the results of that, right?
Well, I think besides that too, the fact that, kids are getting younger and younger, throwing harder and harder,
Correct.
and, throwing breaking balls earlier and earlier, and the fact that like, people are not even blinking now at 18-year-olds getting Tommy John. I'm all, "Why are we getting Tommy John at 18? You should not be getting Tommy John at 18." At like, going into college, what are we doing? And so, unfortunately, it's not gonna change unless there's a major, major shift in mindset because at no point in time are you our scout's gonna be looking at, like, the kid that has pinpoint accuracy, but only throwing, say, like, 86, 90, that kind of range. They're looking at the kid that's throwing straight gas at, 16 years old. And unfortunately, that doesn't play,
Yeah.
you know,
No, no, no.
and
Everything is
that's not
below
yeah,
exit velocity. It's ridiculous.
mhm.
It's
Well,
ridiculous.
and it's, there's a lot of people that say that, cross training between sports and not playing ball all year long is really what needs to be happening. They need to be, going playing other sports. But again, that leads into, oh, well, then how are scouts going to see this kid and how are scouts going to see that kid and blah blah blah. And so it's it's problems everywhere, and that's part of my theory on um, why Astros front office guys and scouts go after the quote unquote older guys in like the Dominican and like Venezuela and stuff like that because or like guys that have been infield that have
Hmm.
turned pitchers like later
Hmm.
on in their careers and so they don't have as much mileage on their arm.
Yeah.
That's my sneaky theory.
Thank you, Barry. I like it. I like it. Well, Susie, has Uncle Jimmy called you yet and asked you about the trade deadline and what you think ought to happen or no?
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed his call. He did call during the hurricane and, unfortunately, had some spotty service down here. So I got a voicemail and, I called back and his voicemail box was full. So we've been playing a little phone tag, but we've been texting just a little. I told him to stay out of the front office and let, Dana Brown take over. He wasn't thrilled with that answer. But I think he knows. I think he knows. So, well,
Yeah. I got a voicemail from Dana Brown. I listened to it. I sent him a voicemail. I saw that it came up to Dana. And so I listened to it, and it was interesting. He said, "We need an innings eater. When was the last time that you pitched competitively?" And I just sent him a text message. I said, "It's been over 2 years. I can't do it, but I can guarantee you I can do it a lot better than some of these people that are doing it right now." So, I mean, my velo will probably tap out at about 73, which is probably 20 miles an hour faster than Jamie Moyer ever pitched. So, I guess I can get that done. I can make people laugh. I can throw a curveball 12 to 6 that takes a half hour to get to home plate. But I haven't heard back from his text message yet. I'm waiting.
yeah, it's one of those things where, I told him to call up the senator from, Nebraska or Indiana that threw, like, 7 innings. Wasn't thrilled with that idea either, but told
Yeah,
me
I
that,
told him that he
he was
needs
on the
to reach out
campaign
to.
trail and blah, blah, blah. I was like, "Okay,
Yeah,
fine."
I told him. I said, reach out to Susie. She's my agent. Um, we do want to finish out the season. I know it's only 2 months, but we are expecting 4 to 5 million. And Susie gets a 50% cut of that, and she pays all my
Mhm.
taxes, and then I'll
Yeah.
take care of it from there.
I mean, while we're at it, just bring back Zach Greinke. I love Zach Greinke energy, man. That's some good stuff right there.
I've got a great Zach Greinke story, but anyway, Susie, um, as people are listening to this, they are going to listen. They are going to love. We are going to be doing some stuff on Top Fan Rivalry that is going to be awesome in the month of August. They are going to want to be in the locker room, but I do not want them to pay full price. So, what is the discount code that they use if they're going to get into the locker room?
Listen to me closely, people. It is not that hard. It is 5 letters. SUZYQ. Suzy Q.
Susie Q, and
Suzy.
that gets you the 10% off, right? I mean, we have got some big things planned. Susie, I haven't even told you about them yet. And once I do, you are going to love them and you are going to sit there and shake your head and go, okay, I am so glad I'm part of the locker room because this is going to be fun.
Well, I mean, I love it anyways, Bill. So, at this point, it's just icing on the cake.
Icing on the cake. There you go. Susie, let's do it again. Thank you for your Astros insights, and we will talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bill.
You bet.